If you spent the last few weeks on the moon, it's just possible that you've heard nothing about this little beauty. Possible, but unlikely, because the launch of the new Astra has caused quite a stir. In fact, this newest Vauxhall has met with loud and unanimous approval. But we haven't just launched a fabulous new car. We've also introduced a pioneering new pricing structure, which for the moment applies only to Astra and Frontera. Let me remind you of the main elements of this new approach. Firstly, we've established a 10% dealer margin on new Astra. At the same time, we've launched Astra at a list price that would look extremely competitive, even without the superb range of extra features. We've also set in place a comprehensive dealer standards program, and we're now publishing recommended delivery charges. Clearly, this represents a brand new way of doing business. But why the new direction at all, I hear you ask? Well, its purpose is twofold: to further our strategy of total customer satisfaction and to improve dealer profitability. It was enormously gratifying to see this initiative so warmly applauded. I think they liked it. What's more, they obviously believe their readers, our customers, are going to like it too. But then we were pretty sure they would, because we carried out a massive research program before committing to this course of action. Of course, research is all very well, but we know the reality is sometimes not as clear-cut. We also recognise that it is you, the salespeople, who have the hardest and yet the most crucial job of all, the job of persuading the customer that the new pricing is to his benefit. The purpose of this video is to help you do just that.
The feedback we've received from the dealer network tells us that you're meeting with two basic objections when selling the new Astra. Some customers believe either that they aren't getting enough for their part exchange, or they aren't being offered sufficient discount. But before we look at ways of overcoming these objections, let's remind ourselves of the basic selling principles, which assume even greater importance in the light of the new pricing. First, qualification. You must establish the customer's wants, needs, and financial constraints. It's vital that you don't try to sell him a car he can't afford. Secondly, sell the benefits of the new Astra's high specification and performance by relating them directly to the customer's requirements. Thirdly, focus your customer's mind on the balance to pay. It's ultimately the actual price of the car, or the price to change, which matters. And finally, sell with confidence. To do this, you must not only be fully conversant with the Astra pricing, but also convinced of the benefits to the customer. To recap, qualify the customer fully. Sell the relevant benefits, emphasize the amount to pay, and sell with confidence. Remember, our research shows us that many would welcome the realistic pricing and honest approach. But where customers do express doubts or concerns, we recommend that you explain the pricing situation carefully and thoroughly, but only after you've developed a solid relationship with the customer. The dramatized examples you're about to see are based on the real-life experience of a number of salespeople, your colleagues. They've helped to reconstruct these scenes in order to share with you the techniques that they've found successful. In this first illustration, the customers wish to trade in their old Escort for a new car. The Astra 1.4i GLS 5-door has a recommended on-the-road price of £11,500, and the customers have a maximum cash budget of around £5,500, leaving a balance to fund from the part exchange of £6,000. However, the customers have indicated that they want £7,000 for their part exchange. The sales manager has had the part exchange underwritten at £5,800, so he's aware that he's £1,200 away from retaining full margin on the deal. The customers have been fully qualified and demonstrated in the 1.4i GLS 5-door, which the salesman knows they can afford. He's already spent a considerable time with them and has built a strong rapport.
So, you seem to like the car?
Yeah, we did.
Very much.
Would you like to buy it then?
Well, what do you think, love?
Well, as I said, we want £7,000 for our Escort.
I'm not sure I can get 7,000 for you. Would you accept a slightly lower figure?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, we couldn't go lower than 6,750, but how much is the Astra going to be?
Well, the total on the road price, including 1 year's road fund licence and £20 worth of petrol, is 11,500. Now, if I could get the 6,750 that you wanted for your Escort, would you like to buy the Astra?
Well, yeah, I suppose so.
OK. Let me see what I can do for you. I'm just going to have a word
At
with
this
my manager.
point, the salesman goes to discuss the figures with his manager, who confirms that the customer is asking far too much for his part exchange.
We're a bit apart.
How do you mean?
The 6,750 you want for your Escort can't be done, I'm afraid.
Well, we've already been offered that against an Escort 1.4 gear.
Oh, I see, against an Escort. OK. What's the most important thing to you? Well, it's the amount of money you have to pay, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Well, Mr. Morris, that's what we're interested in. Let me explain how the pricing on the new Astra works. As you've already realised, the on-the-road price is very competitive. First of all, the Astra GLS is less than the Escort gear that you were looking at. In fact, it's even less than the old model Astra, and it's a better car with more equipment.
I see, yes.
Vauxhall have achieved such a good price because they've brought the dealer's margin right down, meaning that we make a far smaller profit on every car that we sell. Now, Vauxhall have really gone into this, and they've found that the customer would actually prefer to see cars at realistic prices, with no hidden extras.
Yeah, really.
What you don't want are inflated prices that you can only afford by fighting for a big discount or a really high price on your part exchange. Look, buying a car is the most important regular purchase you make, and we believe that you shouldn't have to go through that whole business of haggling. Well, it makes sense, doesn't it, Mr. Morris?
Yeah, seems sensible to me.
I mean, what we offer are cars at sensible prices. And in part exchange, we can then take your car, again, at a sensible price that's fair to you. Now, if you're happy that the Astra's good value, you can then concentrate on the thing that's most important to you. The amount of money you have to pay in order to change from your old car to a new one.
OK, I understand.
Now, how much was the Escort going to cost you?
How do you mean?
Well, how much would you have had to put with your car to get the Escort?
Oh, I think it was 5,380.
Yes, that's right.
OK. Now, you've driven the Astra. It's a great performer. It actually has a more powerful engine than the Escort, and it's fuel injected. Now, if this extra performance and the power steering that you both said you liked were available on the Escort, you'd expect to pay more, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So surely the Astra, with these features as standard, has got to be worth several hundred more.
Oh, I don't know about that. Was nice, though.
Good. But how much nicer? 400 nicer? 500 nicer?
Couple of hundred, I suppose. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, sounds about right.
So you'd be willing to pay a couple of hundred more for the Astra than you would for the Escort? That brings us to, let me see, 5,580. Now, if I can do this deal for you, would you like to buy the car?
Yeah. Don't see why not.
So the deal was concluded with the customer paying £5,580. Subtracting this from the on-the-road price gives a part exchange value of £5,920, representing an over-allowance of £120. The full profit would have been £861 on the basic price, plus £77 on the new recommended delivery charge, giving a potential £938. The gross retained profit after the over-allowance amounted to £818. The key points to note were that the salesman sold the benefits of the Astra over the competition. He convinced the customer of the advantages of the new pricing, and he transferred the customer's focus from part exchange value to balance to pay. Our second illustration involves a customer with no trade-in seeking a discount. Again, he's been properly qualified and demonstrated in a car within his means. A 1.4 high-torque Astra LS 5-door with an on-the-road price of £10,260. The customer has £10,500 available.
So, you really like the car, then?
Yeah, very much.
OK. Would you like to buy it?
How much did you say it was? 10,200?
The total on-the-road price, including 1 year's road fund licence and £20 worth of petrol, is 10,260.
Oh, hang on, what about a discount for cash? I've already been offered a discount on an Escort.
How much?
12%.
And what model Escort were you looking at?
1.40 with 5 doors and catalytic converter.
I see. Now, the most important thing to you is getting the best value for the money you pay, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
Well, that's what we're interested in as well. Let me explain to you how our pricing on the new Astra works. As I'm sure you've already realised, the on-the-road price is very competitive. For a start, the Astra LS is less than the Escort 1.4L that you've been looking at. It's even less than the old model Astra, and it's a better car with more equipment.
Yeah, all right.
Well, Vauxhall have achieved such a good price because they've brought the dealer's margin right down, meaning that we make a far smaller profit on every car that we sell. Well, Vauxhall have really gone into this, and they've found that the customers would actually prefer to see cars at realistic prices, with no hidden extras.
Oh.
What you don't want are inflated prices that you could only afford by fighting for a big discount. Buying a car is the most important regular purchase you make. We believe that you shouldn't have to go through the whole business of haggling. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it, Mr. Taylor?
Yeah, I suppose so.
I mean, if you're happy that the Astra's good value, then you can concentrate on what's most important to you, the amount you have to pay. Now, how much was the Escort going to cost you?
10,000. Well, 9,950.
OK. Now, the Astra's a nice car. It's got central locking, security deadlocks, a separate radio display, all very important, bearing in mind that you've just had your car stolen.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So how much is the extra security on the Astra worth to you? 500, 600, 700 pounds?
Oh, I don't know about that. It's all good stuff, though.
Yeah, but how much is it worth? 500, 600?
A few hundred, I suppose. Well, 400 maybe? No. Let's say 350.
OK. Now, as these features are standard on the Astra, you'd expect to pay 350 more than you would for the Escort, wouldn't you? Which brings us to 10,300. But you've only got to pay 10,260. So you can see what good value the Astra is.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So, would you like to buy the car then?
Yeah, I think I would.
OK, I'll just...
In this case, the total margin was £764 on the basic car, plus £77 for delivery, which comes to a very healthy £841. Again, the salesman was successful, because he highlighted the benefits which were relevant and important to that specific customer. It's just as important, even in deals which don't involve part exchange like the one we've just seen, to get the customer thinking in terms of the balance to pay rather than discounts. A careful explanation of the new pricing should drive the point home that the balance to pay and value for money are the primary considerations.
Prefer to see cars at realistic prices with no hidden extras.
So, 2 objections and 2 highly effective ways of overcoming them. If our market research is accurate, you should be seeing a generally favourable response to the new pricing from your customers. However, some will be suspicious of such a dramatic change, and I hope the examples shown here will prove helpful in dealing with those situations. One thing we didn't have time for here was the all-important qualification process. Remember, it is vital that you demonstrate to the customer a car he can afford. If he overqualifies himself on the assumption that discounts are readily available, it will prove difficult to sell him a lower specification car later. If you still have doubts or difficulties, work with the rest of your sales team to resolve them, or speak to your district marketing manager. We're here to help. The new pricing will help you sell more cars and retain more profit, but only if you fully understand it and communicate the benefits fluently and persuasively to your customers. The market's as tough as we've known it at present, but the new Astra is a great car and we expect great things of it.